St. Lucia, this is Openmike, and we're back to the third segment of our program. You know, it's amazing. There's so much to discuss. I'm 100% sure we won't have time to go through everything, because what Rowan has done today has been so informative for me and for many St. Lucians. But I want to touch on one important subject before we start, and that is, has the impact of the presentation, still exist at St. Mary's today?
Yeah. Well,
first of all, how long were the Presentation Brothers were here?
Right. The Presentation Brothers started at St. Mary's in 1951, sometime like that, and when the Catholic Church invited them to take the comment.
Right.
Yeah. And they stayed on until 1974.
So that's 25,
25 years. Yes. And but during that period, affected a number of, I guess, including yours. And so on. And they were, at the peak, I think there was many, as about 8 of them there.
Is that right?
Yes.
When I was there, there were 4.
When I was there, there were 7, actually.
Okay.
And I understand there's a time when there was as many as 8. Yeah. So that was the peak, because they know they live right just across from the school. And they were totally committed to the school. Yeah. That is all they lived for.
What is your take on the Presentation Brothers? Because you were a student.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And comparing them today with what you were doing, how does that compare?
Okay. The Presentation Brothers, like I said, being a religious order and having very limited lives outside of school, focused entirely on this education journey, and they did many more things than just the St. Mary's. You know, Brother McCartney, remember him?
Very well.
Yeah,
the singing. Yeah.
That's right.
He was the music teacher.
Yeah, you're right. He was the one who was instrumental in managing the entire Cambridge program in St. Lucia. You know, all of the schools who did this, the GC in those days, he was the representative here. I remember. So he did all of these different things as well. So the brothers are committed to education at a very fundamental level. Yeah. This is why they were able to establish St. Mary's and maintain it at the level where they did, because they were not distracted with other things.
Right.
Now, it dawned on me that whoever has to be in charge of the school has to be as committed to the school as they were, or as anybody else can be, to maintain that level of success. Indeed. I try to do that. I try to give my time to the school.
I think you've done very well, honestly.
As much as I can, and I mean, I go there all the time, and so I give. I'm not married, so I mean, that probably helps, because I can go there a lot more than a typical husband would be able to do. Yeah. But I think that kind of commitment to any institution, and St. Mary's being the institution that deserves that, is necessary to maintain that sort of level of excellence. The boys have to see you. You know, these boys at the school, I've dealt with thousands of boys over the time when I've been there. Yeah. They can tell you that as much as I personally like to be, you know, well, loved by the boys and so on, that's not my objective. Yeah. I just set out for them to like me, really. And there are many years when the boys, I guess, didn't like me very much. Yeah. Because when the conduct is not what it should be, you have to be above it. You have to be on top of it to keep it.
I remember the situation you had, for instance, the guy with the long hair.
Oh, yes,
you went through a very tough period.
Yeah, that one came out to the public.
But you held your ground.
There were many others that never come out that I hold my ground similarly for, and other teachers can.
And you know, I found it a bit strange. You know, many people won't agree with me, but you know, if you're running a school, you have to have certain regulations.
Standards.
And
you have to have standards.
You can't, because you don't want that to end up, you know, there's no place for that.
Listen, Mr. Shastny, you will so quickly hear a parent come and tell me, so how come you did it for this other student?
I know. I get that.
That is going to be, I know that so well. Yeah. So I try to maintain a minimum and, if possible, excellent standard in every area. Yes. Boys, no matter who they might be, the Prime Minister's sons have to walk and fall in line with the rules like everybody else.
And
that's how we operate. I mean, we've had many Prime Minister's sons in that school. Many government officials' sons, ambassadors' sons.
I can well imagine the pressure.
Oh, we've had many of those. I mean, have to ensure everyone follows the rules, regardless of who they are. So nobody can point a finger at us and say, you let this boy do it, why can't I do it
now,
too?
I want to say something. Comparisons are odious, okay?
Yes, I know.
But just out of comparison, how do you compare St. Mary's today under your stewardship versus, say, when the Presentation Brothers were there? When you were at school, you said about 400 students.
Yes, 450, I think, yes.
Even the brothers, okay? So you're talking, now that's already a big difference, okay? But as you say, and plus the fact that times have changed, people have more latitude in life.
Yes.
They're free to say what they want. You have to be more flexible.
Right,
Like I often
you're
say,
threatened to go to court. I've been to court already, you know.
Is that right?
I've been taken to court by a parent who thought I was applying a rule too stringently for a son.
I didn't know that.
Yes, she took. The reality is that she should not have taken me to court. She should have been taken the
school.
Not just the school, the Ministry of Education to court.
That there, because they're the ones. Yeah.
Yes, but I didn't mind. I didn't mind going there and fighting the kid. And you know, the judge has not ruled. The boy has left school, and the judge still has not ruled. That's another matter by itself. But you're asking, what is this, the question you're asking?
Yes, I was trying to say the level of teaching.
Oh yes, comparison. Yes, right. Now, you say comparisons are odious, and I agree with you. I don't like to do it because things are never quite the same. Yeah. But let me just let you know that I mentioned earlier on the pass rate being 97% last year. Yeah. The school has never been in that range in its history for pass rates. Okay. Never ever. A school as good as the school was before, we never had 97% pass rate. In fact, I will tell you, when I did GCE, that was 75 or something like that, mid-70s. In my year, a group of boys, there were about 30-something boys, got no passes at all that year. I remember very well. Yeah. And I had to go back to the school. They created a special class for them. They call them, there was 5A, 5B, 5S. Just called the 5 special in those days. 5, and you know when you're that B stream, but you're doomed for life.
Yeah, you're doomed, Well, you know what, brother? Mr. Andrew said, you were in Form B, never to be.
Well, that's what it was. So there's A, B, and S. That year, they created a 5R.
Wow.
Repeat. So many boys failed, they had to come back to the school. And that's what happened then.
And you put that down to what?
That was, I'm talking about 1970 something.
Would that have been the
teaching? Maybe the boys, for that some reason, were distracted that year. But now, if we have one boy who does as bad as that, that's a crisis for us, you know. One boy. We never had, in the past 10 years,
but that's amazing.
No boy has never failed every subject, you know. That's unheard of now. We had 2 years ago a boy failed 4 subjects. And that was
a disaster.
Horrible, a disaster. The boys in the class would totally put off because it kept down their overall pass rate. We have boys, nearly every boy passed every single subject. Just to show you the difference between then and now. Now this again is now the CXC era as opposed to the old GCE era. And I can tell you, I did the GCE myself, and I've seen the CXC. The CXC program is much more rigorous.
Which one?
This one, the current one.
More rigorous.
It's more rigorous than this GCE used to be.
Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. The CXC program, which is pretty well organized. The CXC, we have Dr. Jules around now. He knows what I'm talking about.
He's a very bright man.
Yeah, he knows what I'm talking about. The program is recognized throughout the world now as one of the leading secondary level assessment systems in existence. It ranks all the others with the world. One of the reasons for this, they have this SBA program which allows students to do work at school, which contributes directly to the grade they get when they do the final exam, which didn't exist in our time. It was just the one exam. You sit down in the room, you write the exam. If you do well, you get a high mark. If you're sick and you do bad, you fail, and that's it. But now with the SBA, there's that possibility. And those who put in an effort in the SBA, school-based assessment, get a better grade for the final score when they get the exam results. This is one area. And the whole, the level where CXC covers itself to make sure that bases are being dealt with effectively, allows the exam to be a far more effective method of assessment. So now, when you get a boy who passes 8 CXC subjects, now he has done something, and you can depend on him to be able to function at least at that level when he goes into the workplace.
Now you say that they go away. Do they go abroad to study?
Yes.
Where they go to the UE?
Right. We have all kinds of universities now, because we have universities here as well.
Yes.
You have Monroe College, which is doing an excellent job.
Oh, is that right? Huh?
Yes. We have boys going to Monroe. I mean, I went to graduation a couple of years ago, and there were about something like, I think, 16 of our boys graduating. Now, these are boys who left over a period of 3 or 4 years, who all went back at the same time.
Now, a question for you, just probably difficult for you to answer. Having graduated there, are they being frustrated with the lack of jobs?
Boy, no, that's another level now. I fear another statistic that I have to give you is when we put out 130 boys every year. Maybe as many as half of them migrate, or they go to study and don't come back.
But at least one good thing, at least they're making a success of their life.
Oh yes, absolutely. And many of them will but come back from time to time anyway, and you know, they become part of a structure and solution eventually. But you're right. You're right. They're not a failure individually. But there's a kind of a poor reflection on our system.
Having invested in those people,
that's
we're not
correct.
benefiting from
exactly.
What it is,
And a lot of them come back because they say there's nothing to come back to.
I know.
I see them. They come back for vacation. They come to visit us in the college. They're in Massachusetts and they're in Connecticut and all over doing things. A lot of them are professionals. So I said, when they come back to do something for solution, Mr. Seon, I mean, what really can I come and do here? What's here for me?
You know,
that question, it really
when I went to school, there were two guys, I remember. They used to come first and second all the time. And I met both those guys in the last 2 to 3 years. One, believe it or not, he took a job in the government. That fellow was so bright. He came in at 15 as an intending teacher. He jumped in 1 or 2 classes, and he actually ended up teaching me at the school. He was together in the same form, ended up teaching me. He just wasted away. Another guy who used to come. He's still here. Another one, I hadn't seen him for a long time, maybe 25, 30 years. And then I was in Sufra, and I saw him running a gas station, and he still wore the felt hat I remember when he was in school. And I said to him, I don't want to call the name, he said, well, you know, just quiet. He's a very quiet guy. And that guy could have done anything, you know, but that was then. He didn't have the opportunities, you know, which is shameful, you know.
Yes, it is. It is.
Now, going back to the students, in my time too, the brothers concentrated heavily on sports. I remember, for instance, we used to have a water polo team. We had a football team. We had cricket team. We had athletics. Does that still take place?
Yes, it takes place, but not quite at the level. That's one of the changes I must concede. In your time, even in my time, we had a 6th form at St. Mary's. The boys who were 18 years old.
Right.
Which were adults, really. Adults, who were able to have a leadership role in that school that maintained the same level.
We even had a band, you know.
We have a band now. But right now, the oldest boy in the school is going to be 16 or 17.
Wow.
That's the difference, because we don't have Form 6.
That's right.
See, that's an important difference.
Because they're much brighter.
Yes, and they leave in Form 5.
Okay, that's
so that little 2-year gap there.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
And you've lost some real leadership, because that's where the prefects, the real prefects, came from in the old.
Now you still have prefects.
We have prefects, but the 5th formers. Who, you know, more or less the same as.
How many prefects you have?
We have about 35 prefects.
Wow.
I didn't know. I'm not taking anything away from them.
We had 4. We had 4 prefects in my time.
My goodness. Even in my time, there were about 19 or 20. But 35 now, because the numbers are much more.
Certainly.
Yeah. But
do they do a good job, the prefects?
Yes, I'd say the short answer, yes, they do. Of course, we have exceptions in between. But what we try to do, for instance, we have a whole training program where we have persons, you know, preparing them for the leadership of the school. And then
you're going to tell me about the sports.
Yes, that's right, that's true. Now, the sportsmen too. I remember in my time, when you had a St. Mary's College team playing football, it was not just the students, the teachers represented the school. Even the brothers.
That's right.
Brother
Brutus, Brother Lam.
In your time?
Brother Lawrence,
I guess it would be different brothers in our time.
He used to be the goalkeeper. I remember once and fellas wanted to get even and say, Pompe Brutus, you know? But tell me something though.
So I was telling you, so it was a different level of activity. Right now we have 5th formers essentially playing for the school. So they play among other 5th formers. They're not big enough to go and play in the national clubs. So you will not hear St. Mary's College now being a national playing team. So you have to understand
that's the cost of success.
In a way. But we still have, that's the cost of losing our 6th form. Because we just have now, there's 15
because, I see.
The boys need to go to Arthur.
But so the Arthur has no sports.
So Arthur has his own sporting program. You asked a good question. One may wonder why they're not doing better in the sporting program. I think it's picking up now. There's a very able young man there.
I mean, we used to play the Army, the SMC. We were powerful football team. We had 9 water polo teams. Cricket teams, you know, we'd go down. They had the inter-island cricket and all that kind of thing.
We still have a cricket team, a football team. We have all the volleyball. We're not the national champions in volleyball. In fact, right now, as we speak, there are 3 St. Mary's College young men who are representing St. Lucian volleyball, there's one in Portugal, playing beach volleyball in Portugal.
Yeah.
2 in Portugal and 1 in El Salvador playing right now. So we have our overseas.
So you see the sport has changed. We didn't play volleyball.
Yeah.
St. Lucia, this is Open Mic. This is the end of our 3rd program. We'll be right back.